My name's Harry, and I want to be a data scientist. I should probably rewind a bit. I've been working as an electromechanical engineer based in the UK. I love engineering and probably always will, but over the past 12 to 18 months, I've developed a stronger and stronger interest in pursuing a career in data science. I'm a big fan of YouTube, so naturally when I developed this interest, I started watching videos of people documenting their journey of becoming a data scientist. Now, while I did find these really interesting, what I found was that most spoke about their journey retrospectively, after already securing a great job in data science. So, why am I making a YouTube video about this? Since I've decided I want to be a data scientist, I thought it'd be interesting for me to document my journey of hopefully one day becoming a data scientist, documenting every step of the journey. My idea is to document my entire journey, which will hopefully end in me securing my first role in data science. Of course, getting a role in data science is by no means guaranteed, but I guess that'll be part of the fun of it, or perhaps more for you watching than for me. I want to document the journey of someone that's got no experience or no background in data science or statistics, taking the steps I need to take to secure my first role. I'm still working out exactly what I want these videos to be, but I thought that I could perhaps do a video every 1 or 2 weeks documenting what I've been doing to work towards the goal in the time period since the last video. This might include what online courses I've been working on, what books I've been reading, what new learning resources I've found, what portfolio projects I've been working on, and so on. And if I get as far as landing any interviews, it might be interesting to do a debrief on how those interviews went. I could talk about what sort of content we covered, what I thought I did well, and what I thought I didn't do well. And I'm thinking with each of these topics, I can talk about my experience of going through them. For example, what did I like about this online course? What did I not like about it? Would I recommend it? What were the key takeaways from the chapter of the book that I've just read? What did I learn from it? And perhaps talking to a camera for a few hours a week might help keep me sane on the tens of hours of studying I'm about to embark on. I think sharing this journey so publicly will help keep me accountable and focused on working towards that goal. And perhaps for any of you watching this, you might find it interesting to follow along with the journey. And I really like the idea of this being a two-way conversation. Any of you watching this that might find yourself on the same journey as me, or any people watching this that have already secured a job in data science, I'm sure you both have good ideas to share with us to help us land that first role in data science. Since this is my first video, I thought I'd give you an idea of where I'm starting from. I'm going to try and break this video into 5 sections to give you a good idea of my background and where my starting point is. I'll first talk about my education and give you a brief overview of that. Then we'll talk about my work experience. Next, why I want to go into data science. Then what I understand the challenge to be. And finally, I'll talk about what I've been doing so far to work towards my first applications. So let's go back and start with my GCSEs. At school, my work ethic wasn't great, but somehow, probably through a combination of luck and serious cramming near to the exams, I managed to secure 11 GCSEs. That included A's in the big ones like English, Maths and Science, and I also got A stars in art and photography. When it came time to study A-levels, I still had no idea what I wanted to do long term. I know that I liked art, photography and maths, so naturally I chose those as my first 3. For my 4th choice, I ended up choosing economics, not because I had any real interest in it at that point, but because it felt like a safe choice. My first year of A-levels wasn't great by any means. My work ethic was still poor, and combine that with not particularly liking the college that I was studying at, that meant that I got quite poor results. I got D's in economics and maths, and C's in art and photography. Not great. The following year, I changed college and things started going much better for me. It felt like things started to click, so I was enjoying the college and the courses that I was doing. The courses that I took to A2 level and completed were art, photography and maths, for which I got an A in each. It was during the final couple of months at this college that I realised I wanted to go into engineering. I'd always been quite practical and enjoyed making stuff as a kid, so it felt like a good choice for me. I decided that I wanted to go into mechanical engineering. The trouble was, almost all university courses required you to have an A-level in not just maths, but physics as well. I'd realised at this point I'd messed up by not choosing physics, but I was determined to go into engineering. So I decided to enrol for another year of A-levels to get an A-level in physics in a single year. I also had to enrol at another college because the one that I was currently studying at didn't offer it. And yes, if you're counting, that is 3 different colleges in 4 years. So I ended up doing an A2 and AS level physics in a single year, as well as AS further maths. During this year, I started applying to university courses. Here in the UK, you get to choose 5 universities to study at for your applications. Probably through some combination of overambition and delusion, my 5 choices were Cambridge, Imperial, Loughborough, Bath and Manchester. Unsurprisingly, I got rejected from Cambridge and Imperial. These are 2 of the top universities in the world, and my results and clear lack of direction with my studies clearly just weren't good enough for them. However, Loughborough, Bath and Manchester all gave me offers. My firm choice was Loughborough, which required me to get AAB, and my insurance choice was Manchester, which actually had the same offer of AAB. I really enjoyed my time at this college. I applied myself well and my work ethic was good, but when results day came around, I didn't do as well as I'd hoped. I got a B in physics and a B in further maths, but although I was disappointed, it was enough to satisfy my offer from Loughborough University, which was my firm choice. So off I went to Loughborough to do a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. At Loughborough, I quickly realised how hard I was going to have to work to do well. First year came as a bit of a shock with the quantity of the work and the difficulty of it. I got through first year with a 2-1, and I wasn't particularly happy with that. It was in the second and third year that I really started to apply myself and get my head down. I ended up finishing my course with a first, and to my surprise, after graduating, I won 2 awards from the university. The first award was for the highest pass mark on my programme, which came as a complete shock because there was over 100 students on my course, many of them very, very intelligent people. The second award was for best final year project, which was issued by the IMechE, or the Institute for Mechanical Engineers for anyone that doesn't know. My course was an integrated placement year 1. That meant between second and third year, I did a year-long placement in industry. I went to work for Jaguar Land Rover, where I was employed as an undergraduate engineer in the company's research department. I really enjoyed my year at Jaguar Land Rover because I got to work on some really interesting projects and work with some really great people. We were working on a prototype electric vehicle that had a lot of very cool cutting edge technology, and I was lucky enough to get to lead a lot of the mechanical design work on this. When I returned to Loughborough, I'd contemplated doing a master's, but my time at Jaguar Land Rover showed me that I really enjoyed being in a working environment, and I was keen to venture out into the world and secure my first job as a graduate. After my time at Jaguar Land Rover, I was offered a place on the company's graduate scheme. However, I was keen to try as much as I could early on to try and find my calling. I was contacted by an ex-colleague at JLR who was working at a company called Rootwave. Rootwave are a startup based in the Midlands in the UK, and they used high voltage electricity to kill weeds as an alternative to chemical herbicides. They had a lot of interesting projects going on that sounded really fun to me, so I joined the company initially on a 3-month contract, which after those 3 months were up was extended to a full-time one. After a year and a half of working at Rootwave, I was promoted to a project technical lead. My time at Rootwave has been incredible. I've got to work on some really interesting projects with some amazing people, over a mixture of electrical, mechanical and integration work. However, in March of this year, I'll be leaving Rootwave and looking for a new adventure. So that brings us up to today. And at this point, you might be wondering why I want to go into data science. For me, it probably started back when I was doing some PowerShell scripting during my time at Rootwave. We were using a piece of software called Autodesk Vault, which is a PDM or product data management tool. It's where we stored all of our engineering data, like CAD data and engineering drawings. We felt limited by the features that this piece of software had. We had big ideas about how we could automate and streamline our processes, but no means to do it. It was at this point I dived into scripting, in this case with PowerShell. I was writing scripts to automate processes that would previously take engineers tens of hours and be painful and prone to errors. This included tasks like automatically exporting CAD data into formats that our manufacturers could use to make our parts, or sending emails or Teams messages to an approver when someone was ready for their work to be reviewed. The ideas for how far we could push this automation snowballed, and they ended up implementing a lot of automation and streamlining that probably saves our engineering team hundreds of hours over the course of a year. It might sound sad, but I got really excited about the prospects of what was possible with programming. I also loved how it shared a lot of the aspects of engineering, just like the problem-solving aspect, which is something that I always loved. I was curious to explore how I could turn this into something that I could work on full-time. Another big influence on me was a good friend of mine who's already employed as a data scientist. I'd never really understood what his job involved until one day we had a long conversation about exactly what it was he did. After that conversation, I was sure that it was something I wanted to explore further, so I did more and more research until I became convinced that data science was something I wanted to go into. Let's be clear, I fully understand how difficult it's going to be for someone like me to get a job in data science. You don't have to look at many job descriptions, even for entry-level positions, to realise that there's a long list of requirements. You've of course got your data science essentials like Python and SQL, but also you often have requirements like needing a master's or a PhD, or multiple years experience in data science or as a data analyst. You often also need to be familiar with a long list of frameworks like Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, Seaborn, and so on. The other challenge is the seemingly small number of entry-level positions that exist for data science, meaning those that do exist are extremely competitive. In my experience, it's not uncommon to see jobs being posted on LinkedIn with over 500 applicants, so I know I've got a lot of work ahead of me to make sure that I stand out in the sea of applications. I quickly realised one of the key skills I'd need to become a data scientist was Python. For the last 12 months, I've been learning Python on and off, mainly using courses on Udemy. Over the last 2 months, I've really ramped up my studies and I'm starting to feel quite comfortable with it. I also realised that SQL was essential for nearly all data science roles, so I started doing courses for that too. I'd like to go into the specific courses that I've been using and resources that I've found helpful, but I think this video is probably already too long and I've probably already bored most of you, so I'll save that for a future video. A big area I know I need to improve on is my portfolio projects. Currently, my portfolio is an empty GitHub account, but I know that I need to fill this with exciting and interesting projects. With no experience or background in data science, I know that I need to use these projects to exhibit to employers that I've got the skills that they're looking for. So I know this is one thing that I'm going to be working on a lot, and I'd like to bring you along for the ride. So I'll end this video by saying, if you want to join me on my journey of becoming a data scientist, hit subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.